Yesterday, I shared this woman's story. She was talking about how there was just this quick and intense chemistry that she had with this man that she was FaceTiming. And then the first time she met up with him, the chemistry was there in person too. He brought her some expensive tequila and perfume. And this was potential love bombing. Now, when men love bomb, you don't really know why they're trying to get their hooks, but they're trying to get their hooks into you quickly. Now, there are some men that are able to play the game a little bit longer, to drag it out and not necessarily love bomb. I don't know if there's a slower version, love slow. I don't know. But this woman's story time is a man playing the longer game. He was in a financial situation that was dire, and he was playing the game just a little bit longer. I have a buddy that I haven't talked to in a while on Facebook. So I jump into her inbox. I'm over here in blue. I'm like, I know I haven't talked to you in a while since I popped over on YouTube. But what happened to that dude you were dating? I was like, I understand. If you don't want to tell me, I'm being nosy. Just let me know, whatever. And then she starts talking because she is a woman that likes to talk. She says, girl, that dude turned out to be a trash fire. Short story. I knew him as a friend back in 2022 to 2023. At that time, he was engaged to someone else, also had a $200,000 a year job. I ended up stopping the friendship in 2023 because it became obvious his interest in me was a lot more than friendly, and he was living with and had just bought a house with his fiance. Well, he resurfaced in March of 2024. They had broken up and she had moved out. And he had also lost his job in December of 2023. But the way he made it sound, he was fine financially, thinking about retiring. He was 55, owned a couple of properties, etc. I mean, I don't ever ask about money, but he himself made it a point to tell me these things. I guess the idea was that I would think he was financially secure and just looking for a job as a maybe thing and not something he needed to have. But none of that turned out to be true. He turned out to have $10,000 a month outgoing expenses on two properties. The first one was not paid for, and the second he had bought including her income. But she was never put on the deed, so she was paying in for nothing. So when she moved out, he lost that income and was having to pay for the whole thing. I only dated him for about 6 months, about one date a week, so maybe like 20 dates total, but it was enough time to figure out that he actually needed a job, wasn't getting one, and was going to run out of money. I broke up with him in October of 2024. He resurfaced just a few weeks ago, and when I refused to play, put the townhouse he is living in now on the market 10 days ago. Makes me think he is headed towards foreclosure since he still doesn't have a job. This guy is really, really good at looking affluent and upper middle class, etc., but he is gaming everything about that image. And I'm pretty sure it's because he's in the market for a partner with a steady income to support him. It's multiple layers and it takes some time to figure out. And then she says, he lives in a nice place, drives a nice car, eats out a lot, etc., but it's all a shell game. But you would have to be smart and take some time to see it. And here I am just reading this. I'm like, yo, what? She says, these guys are crafty, girl. They know how to present that facade that they're doing great and are successful because it ropes women in. She says his ex-fiancee gave him 6 years of her life and helped him buy that second townhome. She'll never see a dollar back of any of that. So the story in this is, don't be a Barb the Builder. Don't pay into anything where you can't get your investment back. Paying into something and your name is not on the deed is just throwing your money away. He gets to keep that investment. When he sells that house, he's going to get some money back. But this ex-fiancee gets nothing. If she were married to him and her name was on the deed, then she would get part of the investment once he sold it. Please don't do this. Don't be like this ex-fiancee. Here I am asking if she put a longer version of this story on her page because she types a lot. And she says, I don't think I ever talked about the whole thing. I'm like, oh, okay. She's she says, like dudes like him run a long game, right? They present that facade, they take you out to eat and all that. So you feel obligated when suddenly they need something from you. And you see me down here. Can I make this into a video? She's like, hells yeah, you can. And she says, and I think it's also a real deep dive into that thing about if a man can take you out, he's successful thing cannot be true at all. You have to ask questions and sit back and pay attention to everything. He could be dead broke, taking you out for those dinners and flowers. It's a small investment for him if he can get you to move in or help him buy property because you think he's successful. So this is a broke pest that needs another person to come in so he can nest and rest. But he knows how to present himself better. He's not coming in looking like one of these broke dusties. So this is just another thing for us to look out for and for us to talk about. These people do know how to manipulate. They know how to cosplay. And man, it's just so many different layers. Now, this woman is good because she was only dating him once a week, literally like taking things really slow because she was not pressed about having a man. She's not desperate to have a man. She's single woman, child-free by choice. So she was not pressed about it. She has hobbies of her own. She has good friends. She does things on her own. So she's not one of those women that was just clamoring for some male validation. And I love that about her. And that's probably what saved her from getting caught up in this whirlwind of a man, because he could have created that kind of situation if he's sitting up there taking her out on these nice dinners and looking nice and probably smelling good and all of that. So this is just something else that I wanted to bring out, because as I'm sitting up here reading this, I'm like, women need to know that these types of men exist as well. Because what do we have? We have the men that are looking for a nurse and a purse because they know that they're sick. They try to get their hooks into you quickly. We know that there is the pest that needs to nest and rest. They have no home. They don't even have the money to keep up the facade. Like this man was able to keep up the facade for 6 months with this lady. There's all these types of men that are just looking to manipulate women. There's just different types of tools that they have in their back pocket in different ways that they use to get their hooks into you. So that's the reason why you have to talk to women. We have to share our stories because, somebody else might have gotten reeled in by this type of thing. But if we continue to talk about it and have these conversations, then maybe we can save the next woman from having to deal with something like this. Anyways, I thought that was interesting. A nice little story time. We need to create a name for this type of pest that wants to nest and rest. The ones that don't just come out just looking like a blood-sucking parasite. There has to be some kind of name that we can come up with and brainstorm. All right, y'all, jump into the comments. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.